Hey, Damo here. I haven't had much of a chance recently to work on my electronic music and Pathfinder for any of you that know about it. But I have been working on a tune recently, which is really cool, currently titled Waiting for Change. And it has a sound in it that I originally made a few years ago, which I think is quite interesting for a number of reasons, and I thought I'd talk a bit about it. This is a sound design kind of video about using plugins in an interesting way to turn an obscure sound source into something more interesting. What I will do is I will go straight in and play a clip as it stands at the moment, just as of my working file. It's not mixed, it's just literally, like I say, just my working file. The sound that I'm talking about comes in after about 15 seconds at the beginning of the tune. I'm going to cut into it here. You'll recognize it because it goes bum 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 bum, quite a big sort of sound. I will play that right now. So it's pretty cool, definitely a work in progress. It's a big sound that's made with the smallest of sounds by just layering up tons of effects and layers, and I'll show you how I got to it in a minute. But in your mind's eye, can you imagine how that sound was made right now? Bum 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 ba da da ba da dum, big sort of could almost be orchestral level sort of sound, but isn't. It could be a sample, I guess, from a sample library I could have nabbed. It could be taken from a synth and recorded from a synth. It could be layered with various synths and orchestral sounds, you know, just with pitches and so on. But I got there a different route. It's actually made with this. It's my son's kalimba, is that what you call it? Thumb organ. Which I recorded. I recorded each of the notes separately and layered it up to make something different. So I think it was probably when I first actually recorded the sounds, 18 months, 2 years ago, not exactly sure. Just for a laugh, I kind of thought, I was playing around with that at home, and I just thought, what can you get out of it? What happens if I put a delay effect on it? One of the things that I like to do is just, before making music, is just spend time making sounds. It's a thing now where people just go to sound libraries. You know, there's loop masters, loop everything, splice, you know, whatever. And you can just go and you can just say, oh, I want this sound in whatever key. And I don't know, to me, that's just such a dull way of making music. It's a bit like, I don't know, doing a jigsaw and thinking you're an artist or something. I don't know, just plonking things together. But yeah, I've always just made sounds. It's part of the fun of it for me. So on a random evening, a random day, at any point in the last however many years, I might just grab a synth, grab a mic, grab some instruments, grab whatever, and just make sounds and just record it. And then I might chop it up later as ammunition for tunes in the future. And these found sounds make for me more inspired music in the first place. Anyway, on this particular day, what I chose to record was this kalimba, and the first thing I used it on was a kind of proto track, not working, but just in order to get the sound, which I'll walk you through now, and you'll see it has tons of plugins on it. Obviously, you're going to need quite a lot of plugins to get anything that big off a kalimba. That wasn't my original thought process, it's just what happened. But it's kind of funny, so I'll just walk you through it for a second. Okay, so this is the original file I was working on in Logic, like I say, probably a couple of years ago. And each of these is a sample, if you like, just a cutout of my original recordings, just of each of the notes on the kalimba, spread out across a bunch of different tracks. So from here to here are all notes essentially playing in unison, and then if I go to the mixer, then you'll see here, so a couple of these no longer work because they were 32-bit plugins and Apple, you know, Apple. But each of these tracks, you can see, has quite a lot going on. So running through, the first one is called Kalimba Low Delay. So this is a big, sort of near subby kind of atmospheric drone from it. Then we've got Kalimba Low, which is, so you can see I've got these multiple pitch shifters. So this is actually 2 octaves lower. This one is also 2 octaves lower. Then the third track, this one is actually the sub, do, where it's more focused on being a sub. Then I've got, I think, I don't know, at some point I panned them, but not here. We've got 2 higher pitched ones, and they just run up, you know, all the way up, so it spans 4 octaves. And then, you know, running through, I won't go through each plugin in detail, but we've got some saturation, some more saturation, pitch shift. I've used a vocal doubler, and I was just chucking these on the fly. This is not some like genius preconceived plugin chain. This is just what I just boshed in at the time. Excuse me. So we got some more saturation, we got fuzz, there's a delay in here. This plugin that no longer works, Lagrange, was actually quite a nice granular delay effect. I'd quite like to get that again. I wonder if you can get that in 64-bit. Anyway, we've got that's like a delay, another kind of delay. We've got some more saturation, we've got another delay, all layering these up so that quick sound, dup, that you get from it turns into something absolutely massive. And then we've got the phaser on this one, there's a channel strip, and then I finish it off with a denoiser here, because for obvious reasons, by the time I've got to this point, it's become a bit noisy, but that reins it in. Pretty similar on these 2 lower tracks. This one, which is the sub's, actually got a compressor on it here that's a bit different, and Submarine, which is a Waves plugin for controlling sub bass. This one here, it's got a different delay, it's got a tack knob, the towel reverb, baby comeback, which is quite a nice delay. What other stuff of note have we got in here? Magic Dice, which is always fun. Sound Toys, they're great plugin manufacturer. The vocal doubler again here, not sure at this point why I use that, obviously made it sound interesting. Again, I guess just splitting it out and making it sound bigger. There's a reverb there. So you can see I've basically used however many that is, 50 plugins to make a big sound. I'll just play this. So actually I might overlay, I've got a bounce from the original because this Lagrange was quite nice. So I'll play it visually and I'll overlay the original bounce I had over the top. Don't let them get away with it. I did that and forgot about it. It sat in a folder untouched for a little bit. I then I don't know, I remembered it, and I made a version where I just used the notes of Happy Birthday, and I sent it to one of my muso mates as a sort of birthday video. I think I might be able to find that. Maybe I'll put that in here. I don't think you need to hear any more of that. So yeah, it sat around for a while, and I happen to have just reignited it on my latest tune, and well, I'm really pleased with it actually, and it's something that's just been sat in a folder, and it's turned into something real finally. I've thinned it out a bit from that original one. You can see that was like really big and chaotic. The version in the tune I'm working on is a bit thinner and more in keeping with what I'm working on. But I don't know. There are no rules, right? I mean, what's that? 50 plugins to make one sound. I mean, it's absurd. It's not something you'd ever do if you were just writing a piece of music in your DAW and opening up a new project and writing it. You wouldn't be able to have that many plugins running on a sound. But if you have a session that is just to make one sound, you can do what you like. Is it too much? I mean, it doesn't matter, does it? If it makes something that sounds cool, wicked. I mean, it's just fun. So, I mean, like I say, that is a sound that you could nearly get from synths and samples, but there's something in the metallic hit and something in the woodiness of the kalimba that actually carries through to make an interesting sound that doesn't sound fully synthetic. It does sound like it's, a real sort of analog origin. And I like that. That's cool. That's way more interesting and fun. Even if I wasn't gabbling on in a video, no one would ever know that was anything different. But I just think have fun, have a play. In actual fact, the reason this tune is called, I'll probably change it, it's only a working title, but it's called Waiting for Change at the moment, is because later in the tune, there's a snare layer that's made with me dropping a piggy bank's worth of coins into a metal tray. Just makes for a really big snare sound. Be creative, have fun, make something original. Hey, if you like this, give it a thumbs up, put a comment down below, tell me that I'm a nutter, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.